just finished Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, released in 2004. This one was actually directed by Alfonso Cuarón. He brought a couple of new styles to this. I was doing some research while watching. One of the big things I noticed that I actually made a note of, I made notes for this one, is he did a good job of showing the transition of seasons. I feel like in the other two, like you kind of had to pick up on background things to see that things were changing, or there would be like a big Christmas is coming, or oh, it's the spring. But this one, he actually there are some transitions. There's one where Hedwig is flying over a mountain, and he flies into a snowstorm, and it's winter. Or you see a tree, the leaf turning green and brown and falling off, that it's going into fall. So I liked that. He also tried to get the kids out of their school uniforms a bit and into more street clothes. Oh, somebody's awake. No, I'm trying to make a video. No, you don't need that. Okay, we're just gonna do this. Alright. Nope. Why are you like this? So he tried to show that the students had their own kind of personalities. Kids wore their uniforms however they wanted, which actually looked a little more in line with some other like British comedies I've seen where kids have to go to school in a uniform, but they kind of tailor it to their own personality. I don't know if that's something kids in England can actually do, or if that's just a trope in like TV and movies and things like that. But it was a nice change. Is just what we're doing now. Okay. Did Harry kill his aunt at the beginning? Not the one that we've seen in the other movies, but his uncle's sister. Did she die? Like, this was a very quiet movie. I had trouble hearing it at certain points. And after she floated off, I didn't hear any other mention about what happened to her. Is she still just floating in the ether somewhere? Do I need to... Is there like a post-credit sequence telling us what happened to her? She disappeared at the beginning of the movie, and nothing was ever brought of it. It's a very ominous choir at the beginning, singing "Something Wicked This Way Comes" with the frogs. That was kind of weird. Do they begin every season, every school year like that? I feel like if I heard "Something Wicked This Way Comes" at the beginning of every school year, I'd be even less inclined to stay there. It's a damn good thing Professor Lupin was in the train car when that Dementor showed up. The Dementor showed up on the train to Hogwarts, and one started, like, doing the soul catch on Harry Potter, and Lupin was there to drive it off. What if Harry Potter had been in a whole other cart? Like, how would that have planned out differently? And was he born with lycanthropy, Lupin? Is that where the name comes from? Is he from a family of werewolves, or is it just a weird coincidence that Lupin became a werewolf? As I mentioned, this was the previous movie was the last one with Richard Harris. I looked up his name. Richard Harris played Dumbledore in the first two movies. From here on out, it's Michael Gambon, who is a very different Dumbledore, seeing these back to back. He's a little more animated and I don't know another good word for it. I almost said lively, which... Harris had a very reserved way of playing the character, very quiet and wise, whereas Gambon is a little more tricky. I almost said trickier. I'd almost call it charismatic. He does do a lot more with the students. I feel like, I don't know if that's just because of the story, or if that's because he was able to be around a bit more to do these scenes and these kinds of things. No disrespect to Richard Harris, I think I actually prefer Michael Gambon's Dumbledore. Again, acting was fantastic. They brought in Gary Oldman, Emma Thompson. Both of them did a fantastic job. I didn't write down the guy's name, but the guy who played Professor Lupin, who's been in a bunch of stuff, including the first Dragonheart movie, he played the villain in that. Did a great job in that. Does a good job in this one. Um, the acting from the kids, again, fantastic. Except there was the one Harry Potter line that kind of made me laugh a little bit.
He was a fag!
So, spoiler warning, the whole time you're supposed to suspect that Gary Oldman's character, Sirius Black, is this escaped criminal that is coming to kill Harry Potter. And he finally corners Harry Potter and his friends in this building. And then Professor Lupin shows up. It looks like he's going to rescue Harry. But then you find out that Lupin and Black are friends. And then they're talking about, we need to kill him, we need to kill him. And then you find out that Ron's pet rat, it was actually this guy who was friends with Harry's parents, and he's the one that betrayed him, not Black, and Black got sent to prison for the crimes that this guy committed. Basically, I kind of saw it coming even back when I first saw the movie. I remember hearing that Sirius Black was a good guy, because unfortunately, spoilers were a little hard to avoid with Harry Potter. But even then, just the way they played it all out, the way the whole scene unfolded, the way it was acted, I thought it was very good. I thought they did a good job. Second spoiler warning, there's time travel involved in this. Just randomly at the end, everything looks like it's going to be bleak and everything was done wrong, and then Hermione just busts out this pendant that lets her travel through time. And you want to ask the question, where did she get something like that? And she explains that Professor McGonagall, played by Maggie Smith, gave it to her in her first year at Hogwarts. Why? Earlier I said she was a wise counselor for Dumbledore, and she's smart and she has all these. Why give that to a child? That kind of power. I understand. Okay, Hermione's supposed to be wise beyond her years, and McGonagall probably knew she was only going to use it for studying so she could get all the classes in time. But she's still a child. Someone could just take that from her and use it for their own purposes. And teenagers are very fickle. She could have just randomly decided to use it for whatever she wanted on her own. Deus ex magica. That happens a lot with these kinds of movies, but I wish there was another explanation for it. Like the Marauders map, George and Fred, I remember. George and Fred said they stole the map from one of the professors. Okay, that makes sense. The professor had this item, and these two people managed to lift it somehow. It can be used improperly, but not dangerous by any means, so it made sense for them to have it. Couldn't there have been some other way for Hermione to have ended up with this pendant, other than just, oh yeah, this seniored, maybe tenured professor just gave it to me for absolutely no reason? So those were just some thoughts for Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Next up, I think, is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I seem to recall from when I watched this, when it first came out years and years and years ago, I actually really liked this one. I thought it was one of my favorites. Apparently, it's not the favorite of a bunch of other people. I guess there's no accounting for taste. So let's see if it still holds up when I watch it this time.